Good morning and welcome to Community Conversations. I'm Vicki Green. We have an exciting show today. I've been waiting to sit down with my guest since the big announcement that the Pawtucket Red Sox, or the Paw Sox, are moving to Worcester and are expected to be ready by the spring of 2021. And with that, I say good morning to my guest. In studio with me is Dr. Charles Steinberg, the president of the Pawtucket Red Sox, soon to be Worcester Red Sox. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, and it's good to see you this morning.
Oh, I'm so glad I got you, because this has been a huge story throughout New England, not just in Massachusetts, not just in Rhode Island, that this Red Sox AAA team has decided, after much discussion, years, I think a couple of years, being in Rhode Island and trying to stay in Rhode Island.
Yes,
and working with the legislature, talking about maybe going to Providence, rebuilding McCoy, and then the ultimate decision came to move to Worcester, which everybody in the region is thrilled. Not to say that our listeners that live in Rhode Island, and I have been to Paw Sox games, so not to say that people in Rhode Island can't come here, and we hope they do.
We do.
It's an easy drive. So you've been with Larry Lucchino for nearly 40 years.
Amazing.
Where did that start?
I actually preceded him in baseball. I started in baseball when I was 17. I got a 1-month internship with my hometown Baltimore Orioles, a free internship last month of senior year of high school. And that was 1976. And it wasn't a dream come true, because I never knew you could even dream that dream. So it was beyond a dream. And I thought it was going to be 1 month. And then the Orioles saw that I could move boxes on giveaway days without much complaint. And I was thrilled. They let me stay on from time to time that summer. Then I started college at the University of Maryland, and my parents are gone now, but my dad was an orthodontist, and I had grown up in a nice, normal, middle-class dental household, and I was taking the courses you needed for dental school, not with my father's pushing, but more with an example that he set. And the Orioles let me come back the next summer, and the Orioles let me come back the next summer, and they let me come back. And
I don't think it's let you. You must have done something.
To me, each summer was, the expression, live like there's no tomorrow. I did. I thought this was just a 1-month extension. I'm not very bright. They kept inviting me back each summer, and then I got into dental school and continued, because that was the University of Maryland, not at College Park. That's where my undergrad was, but in Baltimore City. That's where the professional schools are: the medical school, the law school, the dental school, social work school. And so I was able to continue at the Orioles while in dental school, and I had my eureka moment. I said, I know, I'll become the team dentist. And I graduated from dental school while still working for the Orioles, and did become the team dentist. But I also loved the work in the office so much. It was just so fun. It was every kid's dream.
It's the American sport.
It was every kid's dream. And the Orioles were great, always a contender. This is the 60s, and I grew up in the 60s, but this is the 70s into the 80s. And I kept this unusual balance of being a part-time dentist and a lot of time baseball, whatever I was, worker. And the Orioles then got a color video board, a Diamond Vision, and they said, we know you're going off into dentistry, but could you get us started, because my work had been very much in public relations, community relations, ballpark entertainment, things that I would know not from studying them in college, but because I was such a good fan. I've just been a baseball fan, and thank goodness I've never grown up. So it's true.
Were you selling popcorn and doing concessions and then doing marketing, fan events?
I would get to write the words that were on the scoreboard. I got to help select the music and ultimately oversee the music. And now I could make videos about my favorite players. I could make a video about Eddie Murray and a video about Cal Ripken, who were my colleagues, which was still wild for me. But Brooks Robinson and Frank Robinson were childhood heroes. And for Brooks, we made a video to the old song, "Oh, How Happy You Have Made Me." And for Frank, it was a funny story.
Wait, were they singing it?
No. But we built videos of their highlights and showed them on the video board. But for Frank, it was an interesting story because Frank was tough on the outside and very nice on the inside. But you had to get through that outer shell. And he saw me in the clubhouse on the road in Oakland where I was looking at their video board. And with a growl, he said, "What are you doing here?" And I, for once in my life, had a quick answer because I knew that Frank was from Oakland. And I knew where he went to high school. I said, "Well, I'm going to McClymonds High School tomorrow." Now, this was in a tough neighborhood. And he looked at me and said, "You're going to McClymonds High School?" I said, "Yeah, I brought
And this is a player.
Frank by now was already a Hall of Famer, and he was a coach with us. And I'd watched him as a kid, and here he is, like, teasing me. And, he's one of the greatest players in history,
That's right.
one of the absolute greatest players in history. And he was shocked that I was going to go to McClymonds High School. I said, "Yeah, I brought my Kodak Instamatic 134 camera, and I'm going to go take pictures of you in the yearbook," because he not only was a great baseball player there, he played basketball with Bill Russell, with the Boston Celtics, Bill Russell, and another baseball player, Vada Vincent. Well, anyway, he said, "Why are you doing this?" I said, "I'm going to make a video about each coach, and I'm going to start with you." And he said to me, "So what song are you going to use for me?" I said, "I haven't decided yet." And I started to walk away. He goes, "Hey, My Way, Sinatra." So in 1985, we built this video of Frank Robinson's career, of his highlights, to My Way.
Well, he got it his way.
Bring the story to current. He lived well into his 80s and just passed away this past February. And I know his wife well, and I know his daughter, Nichelle, who actually worked with me on the scoreboard. And Nichelle sent me, I sent my condolences. And Nichelle said, "Can you make a My Way video?" He loved that video, and we'll show it at his memorial. Well, in Los Angeles on February 25th, in front of a host of baseball Hall of Famers and stars, and basketball Hall of Famers and stars, including Bill Russell and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Magic Johnson, there was this new version of a My Way video for Frank Sinatra. And to bring it very current, about, an hour ago, I got an invitation because the Baltimore Orioles are going to pay tribute to Frank on April 6th, and they're going to show...
in 2 weeks.
Yes, 1 week.
1 week.
And 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Yeah, you're right. And they're going to show that video. So from being a child of baseball in Baltimore to getting to oversee the video operation with no knowledge of video, but a knowledge of what the fan wants, it's actually not only come to the present, it's come to the future.
And then from there, you went to California, and you went to the Dodgers and the Padres.
Well, yeah, the Orioles work just kept going. And along the way, the attorney for the club, who was the protege of the owner, became the president of the club. And he was this, he didn't have the advantages that I did. You see, I'm a Baltimorean. He was from Pittsburgh. And he thought it was...
Gee, that doesn't sound like Boston in any way.
Well, he thought, I know he had this Princeton undergrad degree and this Yale law degree, but I was from Baltimore. And he had one of the worst ideas I had ever heard. He wanted to build an old-fashioned downtown ballpark with modern amenities in the heart of Baltimore in downtown, while I knew we wanted to go to the suburbs. Well, he was right. I was wrong. Camden Yards became an international sensation. He's Larry Lucchino. He took over the San Diego Padres. I followed him with the zeal of the convert. We then went and built another ballpark there, and San Diego was gorgeous. I mean, we lived in La Jolla. We lived on the ocean. Oh, my heavens. And we built Petco Park there, which saved that club for San Diego. And then amid balmy temperatures in December, Larry says, "We're moving to Boston." Okay.
No questions asked?
No.
Wow.
But the baseball opportunity, the baseball challenge was going to be, the chance of a lifetime. And so we came to Boston in 2002, knowing that we needed to end this proverbial curse and knowing that we needed to resolve the future of Fenway Park. And I said to Larry, "So we're going to build a new ballpark here?" He goes, "No, you don't destroy the Mona Lisa, you preserve the Mona Lisa." Right. And the brilliant collaborator, the architect and urban planner with whom Larry had partnered to build Camden Yards, had gone to Atlanta while we went to San Diego, and now we were all reunited in Boston to save Fenway Park, which Larry and she did. And that was a good, that was a good time in
and
Boston.
She's reuniting with you.
And now,
again.
And she went to Los Angeles to renovate Dodger Stadium, and now we're all reuniting here in Worcester, it's Larry Lucchino and Janet Marie Smith. Both of them will go in the Hall of Fame, not just because with Larry we've won the World Championships, which, of course, in Boston was no small news item.
My grandfather got to see 2004 before he passed.
And you know, therefore, how deeply personal that is.
Absolutely.
But what Larry and Janet Marie have done is change the course of the social and cultural history of America by building ballparks that transform downtowns. And when you can change the culture of a city and take a downtown that might be languishing or a downtown that might need a boost and turn it into a vibrant, thriving source of economic prosperity and psychological, civic self-esteem and pride, you've changed the course of American cities. And that's what we've done in Baltimore. We've done it in San Diego. Janet's done it elsewhere. And now, who knew? But we get to try our hand in Worcester.
And it's exciting. Now, to say it's changing the culture, as someone who's been in Worcester for 25 years, I like to believe that the culture we've had the culture and the pride, but it hasn't been gone. I don't think the message has gone too far.
Okay.
And I think so now, the Red Sox coming in, my opinion in this case is that, and others that I've spoken to that have lived in the city for many years, is that we're getting our due. It's like this is just the icing on the cake. The Hanover Theater, the DCU, Mechanics Hall has been here from the get-go.
Yeah.
But I do want to say we're going to get into the details because we could talk for hours about this because you're so passionate, and there's a lot of people I think that want to know about the details. But I want to let people know a little bit about you, which is you're a musician. We just got to play. I got to listen to you play. You've come up with a couple of Worcester songs,
Yes.
right? But we haven't heard. We're not going to put lyrics to it yet.
Well, I have lyrics, but
you're not going to release them.
You don't want me to sing them. You want a real singer to sing them.
Well, what did we talk about? Maybe Bublé or Harry Connick, somebody in that genre.
And there might be a Worcester singer who's about to be discovered.
That's true.
Why not?
There you go. But you also, with your love of baseball, stayed in Milwaukee for a while, right? You were helping former Major League Baseball Commissioner Bud Selig write his memoirs. Is that done now?
Yes, virtually done. The book, I think, will come out this year. And Commissioner Selig's been a wonderful, wonderful commissioner and great to me. We've known him a long time. He's a very funny, kind gentleman, which was not his public persona at all. And it was really an honor to work with him and work directly with him. I mean, very directly. People imagine the commissioner of baseball is always in New York. He was hardly ever in New York. He was born in Milwaukee, lived in Milwaukee, is a hero of Milwaukee, and knew that it was important for him as the leader of the national pastime to retain the Midwest perspectives. Yes, there's the East Coast, and yes, there's the West Coast, and there's the Rocky Mountains. It seems that baseball needs to be healthy in the heartland to really be healthy. So he stayed in his home of Milwaukee, and that put me there on two different occasions. After I'd been with the Red Sox for 7 years, and we won, or 6 years. We won the 2004 World Series, won the 2007, and then I went to the Los Angeles Dodgers to get back to the West Coast, which was just wonderful.
Wait, you're from the East Coast and wanted to go back to the West Coast?
Yeah, because those years in San Diego, oh my gosh.
You just wanted to live in La Jolla, right?
Well, now my second bite of the apple was in Malibu, not bad. But I became the first person in history to ever move from Malibu to Milwaukee because the commissioner brought me there to work for him. And it was wonderful. And then Larry Lucchino said, "No, I need you back here in Boston." So like a beat-up old backup catcher, I got traded back to Boston for a broken bat and was reunited just in time.
I hardly think that.
Just in time for the 100th anniversary of Fenway and the 2013 season, which was one of the most emotional and impactful of my life. So that brought me back here, but then the commissioner said, well, I'm working on my memoirs. And so, but I was loving being back with the Red Sox. So in one of the impractical suggestions of my life, I suggested that we split time. And so for 3 years, every Tuesday morning at 4 a.m., I would wake up in Boston, get up, go to Logan, fly to Milwaukee, live in Milwaukee Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, fly back. Yeah. Meanwhile, Larry had taken over with a number of investors, the Pawtucket Red Sox, the Paw Sox, with the intention of building a new ballpark for them because a new ballpark was needed because McCoy Stadium, while beloved, is over 70 years old and it would need something. And meanwhile, I'm in Milwaukee 3 days a week. But Larry, in one of his illustrations of being a baseball romantic, grumbled one day and said, I think I'm going to have to make you president of the team. So, well, thank you.
Like by default?
Exactly. It seemed like that. So and then he would later tease me, I'm the part-time president because I was really only in Pawtucket Fridays.
Right, because you were the executive
Saturday,
vice
Sunday,
president
Monday.
of the Boston Red Sox,
Yes.
technically.
And I'm in Milwaukee Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Meanwhile, we try to keep the team in Pawtucket. We make an agreement for 30 years to keep the team in Pawtucket. We announce it on May 16th, 2017. We have a fabulous, wonderful mayor, Mayor Donald Grebian. And there were 3 words that I didn't think were that significant: pending legislature approval. Mm-hmm. Well,
we know what happened in Rhode Island.
that turned into something. Meanwhile, during that long rain delay, Larry Lucchino had said if the legislature doesn't approve it by the end of the session, I'm going to start returning calls to the
And
other
he'd gotten
cities.
calls from about 18, I read.
Yeah,
18
about
cities?
18 cities.
How did Worcester make the short list? You weren't even there. You were in
I was
Milwaukee.
there, but I was there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. But this wasn't going to happen. We're staying in Pawtucket. Everybody knows that, So he can return the calls, but I really believe it's going to happen in Pawtucket. We just may take a little longer. And Larry is meeting with folks, but it's not all that relevant to me.
Yeah.
It may be serious to him, but it's not. I just didn't think it was going to happen. I thought we were going to stay in Pawtucket. And he's saying, well, I'm meeting with Tim Murray and meeting with Ed Augustus. They're very good.
The city manager of Worcester and the head of the Worcester Regional Chamber, former Lieutenant Governor Tim Murray.
Hey, they're very good. I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's fine. I'm glad they're very good.
Had you ever been to Worcester before?
Yeah, I've been, and I had a couple really wonderful moments. We had brought, even before that, State Senator Harriet Chandler I had met at a Worcester Chamber luncheon, I think in 2012. And I remembered there was such a warm vibe in that room. Mm-hmm. I can still see that room. I've spoken a lot of places, New England, Los Angeles, San Diego, Baltimore, you name it. And I can still feel the vibe, the warmth in that room. It was interesting. I never forgot that. And she and I kept in touch from time to time. And then when we won the 2013 World Series, we brought the trophy to this place. And I remember it was a winter night. And I looked in this place. What a gorgeous place.
Mechanics
Hall.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself,
I got married there.
Is that right?
Gorgeous.
I can imagine that. Mm-hmm. And I remember thinking to myself, we, meaning the Boston Red Sox, we need to do more here. And I wanted to really get going with Red Sox road shows at the Boston Red Sox. I wanted to go all over New England. I thought, we got to go back to Mechanics Hall. But, life happens and you keep working, and the baseball season is a merry-go-round. You get on, you spend. So I didn't get back there. So those were fond memories of Worcester. But we're going to keep the team in Pawtucket. Everybody knows that.
So when did you get the call, and what did he say?
Well, there wasn't a call. There was a gradual thing, and I'll explain it. So I'm going to Milwaukee 3 days a week still, while Larry is spending time really discovering that he finds Tim Murray and Ed Augustus very credible.
In Worcester, yeah.
In Worcester. And one day he said to me, it's a little bit disturbing to me that things I think are quite positive in their potential in Worcester and Massachusetts, and you haven't even you haven't even gone and visited. Well, okay, but thanks, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm in Milwaukee. So he calls the commissioner a year ago, meaning April of 18,
yeah.
And says, you've had Charles for 3 years working on your memoirs. I need him now.
He calls Bud Selig and says, I need him back.
They know each other. They're friends. Yes. Yes. So now watch this sequence. I flew home from Milwaukee on my weekly Thursday night flight, May 3rd, and that would be the last time I would go out there on a weekly basis. And Bud Selig was funny. He said, Lucchino called. He wants you in Pawtucket, because you could be in Milwaukee.
Right.
So it was funny. So because I stopped going to Milwaukee May 3rd, that allowed me to attend my first meeting in Worcester on May 9th. About 11 or 12
Take
leaders.
long, yeah.
Right. Because it was the next week. I would have been in Milwaukee, but there was Tim Murray, there was Ed Augustus, Jake Sanders,
Bunch of people from City Hall.
yeah, Mike Angelini, and business leaders, men and women. And, by now Larry had been talking to them for about 9 months. And here I was putting my toe in the water for the first time. And I walked out of there and I thought, oh my goodness, I understand what Larry means. They were good. They were logical. They were clear. They were linear. Passionate. And no disrespect to Rhode Island. Rhode Island's just as passionate.
That's right.
But I could see why Larry was making progress with them. There was a definite spirit of harmony and unity in that room. Then came May 22nd.
Dun, dun, dun. That's what I feel like.
It was. And I met with 3 people who work for Worcester City Manager Ed Augustus. Jake Sanders, who had been at the May 9th meeting, Amy Peterson, and Nicole Valentine. You know Nicole?
Well, I know who they are.
Okay. Well, they just drenched me with their passion for Worcester and Central Massachusetts. And it was a spiritual meeting. It was something special. And Nicole got emotional, and she said, I'm sorry. I just love my city.
And that's how I feel.
Well,
that's exactly how I feel. And that's why I wanted you to be here.
Exactly. And I understand that, but I didn't know that till then. And I walked out of there. This time I thought, oh my gosh, this might really happen. This could really happen.
So in August.
By August 17th, we still wanted to give Pawtucket every opportunity, and Pawtucket was great. The mayor was great. He couldn't have been better. But you're looking in Worcester at the collaboration between Worcester and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. You're looking at Governor Baker giving a mandate. You're looking at Lieutenant Governor Polito putting her heart and soul into it. And you saw the collaboration between Lieutenant Governor Polito, Ed Augustus, the City Council, Mayor Petty, Tim Murray, the business community, and 10,000 postcards that we
from the Canal District.
Yes, from the Canal District that we keep in our office in Pawtucket. They're still there. So you saw the corporate community, you saw the political community, you saw the everyday fan community, all in harmony and love and unity. I'm a child of the 60s. I wanted to sing Kumbaya. and it really went down to Thursday morning, August 16th at 11 a.m. We did not know till then.
So there was no decision literally till prior to the announcement?
No.
Really?
There was movement on both sides, and we were trying to give Pawtucket every chance, Pawtucket and Rhode Island. And finally, at 11 a.m. on Thursday, August 16th, our counsel, Kim Miner, got a call and she was told, we have a deal. And the announcement was on Friday, August 17th, and the big celebration was on September 17th. And Worcester has been welcoming us with open arms and open hearts in the most remarkable way I've ever seen for any city in which I've lived.
And that makes me feel great, too, because you've lived in such major, larger cities. And this is the second largest city in New England. So we don't have much time, so I want to get to today. So we're going to fast forward to questions that I've been getting from people. When the park, it's supposed to open in the summer of
spring
2021.
2021.
2021. We're on schedule.
So far, yes.
Okay.
We're hoping to break ground this July.
Okay, so let's talk about pragmatic things. Let's talk about ticket prices.
Okay.
In
Keep 'em
Pawtucket, keep them low. Like Pawtucket, it's $13, $14,
you
or
price
general
your market,
admission, it's
and
$9.
you've got to make sure that you exclude no one. This community of Worcester and the larger community of Central Mass is so distinctive, not only in its love and its harmony, but in its multicultural embrace and how the multicultural communities work well together. And there is a theme that is just drilled into my heart from our fan plan meetings. We better not price anyone out. This better be a community ballpark. And that's what minor league baseball is.
That's right.
this is not Fenway Park. This is Polar Park. And it's going to be great and wonderful and essential to make sure that everyone has access to this community gathering place.
Okay, so the prices are going to remain, and I know you also have been carrying this little blue book around.
Well,
that's
yeah,
what I've heard to these
you know,
fan plan meetings with colleges. I mean, that's the great thing about Worcester too. That Pawtucket doesn't have, unfortunately, is the college community.
Well, absolutely. But I think one day we were going into a meeting at City Hall. I didn't have a pad. I went into the CVS right across the street.
From where we are.
Right across the street from where you are. I bought a blue spiral book. And I wound up using it at our first fan plan meeting, and so it became famous as the Little Blue Book. But we've had 14 fan plan sessions. We've had 640 ideas put forth, some in duplicate or triplicate or multiplicate, if that's a word, because people feel some consistencies, and we're going to keep going. We want everyone's voice to be heard. It's a ballpark for the people. We're not building this for ourselves.
If nobody comes.
Well, in other words, we've built ballparks.
Right.
You know, this is what you want to give as a gift to Worcester, as a gift to Central Mass, to have as a wonderful civic gathering spot that is the embodiment of the expression, the heart of the Commonwealth. Mm-hmm. And as Pedro Martinez said eloquently on September 17th, it's the heart of New England.
Yeah, we were there for that. It's amazing. So you had this blue book. You're getting the ideas.
Yes.
The name, which has been Woo Sox. We don't know. It's getting down.
What do you want it to be?
What do I want it to be?
Yeah. What's your shirt say?
Well, that's what the shirt says. That doesn't mean that that's 100% my choice. I'd like to hear what the ideas are. I have ideas, but I'd like to hear what people.
We had
people
218 different ideas come in from over 1,000 submissions. And some of them were funny, some of them were silly. You know, some of them were okay if you want to be the
Rockets.
Well, the Rocket Sox are good in honor of Goddard, but the Wicked Worms for Wormtown, the Fighting Worms. What was that that really funny one? I have to remember. But we had the Dirt Dogs. We had the Scrappy's, because of a Red Sox player who was
I don't know how low the lowest spinners came from the textiles. So right. So and then the Railers, the Worcester Railers, the hockey team, because I've had Mike in here and we've talked about which we won't go into, but the importance of minor league sports in general to this area and this city and going out to the schools and doing things. So the stadiums, we know it's a $90 million project roughly. We know that everything so far.
Hold on, I forgot one name.
Oh,
the Gritty Kitties.
The Gritty Kitty?
That was one that made us laugh.
Okay, everybody in the room. My producer's here. Steve is here from the Red Sox. Everybody's laughing on that one. Yeah, that definitely would be on my list.
I think in May.
This May?
I think this May we'll do a little bit of May Madness, like March Madness.
2 months. Okay.
And while it won't be a binding decision by the public, we'll give it another round and see who beats the Woo Sox.
So they can go to like polarpark.com and maybe put in comments?
We always try to keep all the news at polarpark.com. You can also give your input there. You can give your ideas for what you want in the ballpark at polarpark.com. So polarpark.com, we hope to have as your main, I'll say secondary news source after you. But yeah, it should have all of your information.
So on that note, too, the colleges have said, I've read that they want special college seating. It's these kinds of ideas. And I know you're big on community outreach. As you said, you've done it in many cities.
Well, that's how you do it.
You also have scholar programs, I saw, like the Paw Sox Scholars.
Yeah.
Are you going to do something like that
I sure
in
hope
Worcester?
so. We love doing the Padres Scholars, the Red Sox Scholars, the Paw Sox Scholars. I could sure see doing a scholars program here where we love to give substantial college scholarships to middle schoolers so that their dreams are funded. And their dreams are funded before, you hope, they're confronted with some of the dangerous temptations of adolescent life. Let them know you're good. You're going to be okay. You're going to college. And isn't it cool when it's your community baseball team that is helping you get there?
And again, the cool thing about this is I don't think this is not just a Worcester, as you said, Worcester-centric. It's the Central Mass region. It's people coming from Springfield in. It's people coming from Metro West in. They want to have a fun day. We've got a great restaurant community down there that's been down there, in my opinion. But it's going to be nothing but terrific. So another question I have to ask you on behalf of my nephew and some other up-and-coming players that I've talked to, they want to know, How often, a big draw obviously are big names. Right, so we have injured players that come down, and we're playing at Pawtucket. Are we going to see that here? That's my number one question. Number two, what's going to happen with Rich Gedman, who's the current batting coach, who's a Worcester guy?
Well, let me do number two first because we love Rich Gedman. He is
former catcher of the Red Sox,
right? Former all-star catcher, championship catcher on the American League Champions.
When I was growing up, he was playing.
Right, and grew up on Lafayette Street here in Worcester, and is one of the nicest guys. Now, the personnel who wear the uniform are all determined by the Boston Red Sox.
Okay.
So the Boston Red Sox control that for all the minor league clubs.
That's including Lowell and...
You bet. Okay. All the way. And so we love working with Rich Gedman. He's the hitting coach of the Paw Sox, and he's excited about Worcester. And I'm sure all of his childhood friends are knocking on his door, and he's probably going to have a major pass list for Polar Park, but that's fine. But what was the first part?
So the first part was, you kind of alluded to it. How do we, when we see an injured, like Dustin Pedroia is injured, or
so you don't want any of the Boston Red Sox to get injured. You never want them to get injured.
Right.
But if that should happen, then what often happens after their time on what's now called the injured list, used to be called the disabled list, they changed that. It's now the injured list, is to hit the ground running when they get back to Boston. They do what's called a rehabilitation assignment. And while we don't wish injury on anybody, that has led in the past to you seeing Dustin Pedroia play again at AAA, Xander Bogaerts, David Price. It's pretty exciting because you're going to see them. You're going to see them up close. When you build a ballpark, especially in the minor leagues, and what we hope for in Polar Park is you really create a cozy atmosphere. I remember when we were building Camden Yards, Larry Lucchino said, I want cozy, not cramped, colloquial, not colossal. And so you're going to be...
Like with a bar.
Yeah.
We were talking, Steve and I were talking
down
earlier.
Low and close to the field where
autographs?
you can pet the animals. Yes. In other words, you want to... Are
you calling players animals, by the way?
I call spring training our last petting zoo, The players are wonderful. They're great guys. And they love fan interaction when the fans are children or adults who are well behaved, and they're happy to interact and meet them. And when the players in the minor leagues, it's all they're painting a blank canvas. It's all new for them. We've seen it. We've seen a lot.
And how many come up through the ranks and end up being? I think I read you met Jackie Bradley Jr. There were so many of these other players.
Jackie Bradley, Xander Bogaerts, Mookie Betts. Think about this: the Boston Red Sox are the defending world champions.
Right.
44 different players played on the 2018 Red Sox. Okay, it took 44 guys over the course of a year to win that World Series.
Right.
Okay, 35 of the 44 played in Pawtucket.
Really?
Plus manager Alex Cora. Exactly.
Right. Alex Cora was with Pawtucket?
And when he was a player.
So 35, let's just get this straight.
Of the 44.
35 of the 44 on the World Series team last year played in Pawtucket.
At some point in their journey.
Career.
Exactly.
So we can expect that in Worcester. That's exciting.
And it's more than playing at Polar Park. You want them to live in the Canal District.
Right.
You want
or
them,
in the region.
Alan Fletcher's just opening these the Worcester Public Market, and above it some apartments. Well, why wouldn't you want to live there if you're a ball player?
And they're doing it on Main Street down by the theater too.
Yes.
And around the ballpark, there's going to have phase 2 of development with hotels.
Ball players love when you can live right near the ballpark, where you can walk to the ballpark.
And it'd be cheaper. David Ortiz wouldn't have had to buy a $20 million, $10 million condo on Tremont Street.
Him.
Well, listen, it's been terrific, and we could go on for hours, and I really, really want to thank you.
We'll just call this part 1.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that part 1. I did that with Tim Murray. I did word association with Tim. I won't make you do that. But it's a great show, and there's a lot of excitement. And I personally, and I'm sure I speak for everybody that works at this station, because I know such great sports enthusiasts we have here, that we're so thrilled that the Red Sox chose Worcester. I personally am not surprised. And I'm so happy, and I can't wait to see what happens. And so, please stay in touch.
We're happy to.
We'll do a part 2. And if anybody has suggestions, questions, Charles Steinberg is saying go to polarpark.com. So thank you again to my guest, Dr. Charles Steinberg, president of the Pawtucket Red Sox, soon to be Worcester Red Sox. That's Community Conversations. I'm Vicki Green. Have a wonderful day. day.